coming to terms with life outside of politics. After 4 years as a parliamentarian, Mahmoud Sadeghi has now been told he can't stand for re-election. He says he was told by the Guardian Council, the body that oversees Iran's elections, it's because he does not obey the Islamic establishment. He rejects that and says he wasn't surprised by the council's decision.
It wasn't very unexpected for me, considering how the Guardian Council make decisions. They didn't provide me with complete evidence. They made notes of comments on the media and my tweets. Due to some of my speeches and tweets over recent incidents, it seems like they paid attention to them.
Others say being a committed parliamentarian doesn't guarantee candidacy.
The law says, for example, a candidate should have a good reputation and be committed to the Constitution. These are not issues one can prove in court. The Guardian Council should see if one is committed to the Constitution or not.
Out of the 81 members of parliament barred from restanding, it's mainly politicians from the reformist movement who have been singled out. They say they want the Islamic Republic's political system to be more open and democratic, but that's opposed by conservatives, who argue change isn't needed. This level of disqualifications has not been seen since the 2004 parliamentary elections, when conservatives won the majority of the seats. That's led to increased criticism of the council, the vetting process, and calls for reform.
The Guardian Council's interference has hurt its position and damaged its reputation. And unlike what they say, it's because of the interests of the establishment. Parliament should reflect people's voices, and people's voices have variety. They should let different opinions be present in the parliament. It will lead to a dynamic parliament and people's hope. One of the reasons that there's a predicted low turnout is because people feel disappointed.
The Guardian Council has rejected criticism that its decisions are politically motivated, and some predict conservatives are set to make gains in this election. President Rouhani has put forward a motion for a referendum on the vetting power of the Guardian Council. But if Conservatives win the majority of seats in these elections, that motion is unlikely to pass and the status quo will continue, setting the stage for next year's presidential elections and a possible change in political direction. Asad Baig, Al Jazeera, Tehran.
Joining us now is Ali Fatullah Nejad, who's a visiting fellow at the Brookings Doha Centre, who specialises in Iranian politics. Welcome, good to have you with us. How is it, you've got a reformist president in power in Iran at the moment, how is it that hardliners are able to exert so much influence over who and who doesn't stand for parliament?
Because the presidency and the parliament so far have been controlled by the opposing side of the hardliners, which are the moderates. They've been backed by the reformists. And the hardliners do control the majority of the most important institutions in the Islamic Republic, including the Guardian Council, that has disqualified more than half of the candidates running for the parliamentary elections, most of them being so-called moderates.
So how much support in the country from just ordinary voters do these hardliners have? How popular are they?
I think both main factions of the regime are in big trouble. There is increasing anger and frustration vis-à-vis both the hardliners and the moderates because of their handling of the country, because of their handling also of the protests in November, which was followed by legal crackdown. And most recently, the hardliners have been much criticized, including the RGC, for the shooting down of the passenger jet. So this is, very much impacting the general mood. So this is why the hardliners of the past few years have been trying to, put forward a younger generation of potential runners.
How much influence does what state media says in Iran have in the election? How much propaganda are people faced with?
Well, I mean, first of all, most Iranians do rely on sources other than state media, foreign Persian language sources, but also a lot of social networks where a lot of political information and debates are being conducted. What the state media does is trying to really, to urge people to go to the ballot boxes, because what the rulers fear is a low participation rate. So the state media is trying to appeal on the national sentiments. One of the mottos is strong elections, a strong Iran. And so they're trying, adorned with some nationalistic hymns, they're trying to urge people to come to the ballot boxes claiming that people's voices would matter, but they do face a lot of harsh crisis of legitimacy.
OK, we've got to move on, but just very briefly, we're going to get a low turnout then, are we? People are going to show their displeasure by not turning out.
Well, you never know about the official figures. There's also some element of manipulation, so we have to see and wait.
OK, really good to talk to you. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you.